Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar, and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails vaccinators and healthcare workers for achieving 200 crore vaccine doses landmark. Prime Minister interacts with the Indian contingent for the upcoming Commonwealth Games 2022 in Birmingham. Both Houses of Parliament adjourned till 2 p.m. following continued opposition protests over price rise and other issues. Counting of votes for presidential election to take place tomorrow. Kerala government releases standard operating procedure to deal with monkeypox cases. Ranil Wickremesinghe elected as the new president of Sri Lanka. Several Western European countries are in grip of severe heat wave, with temperatures breaking previous records. Today is World Chess Day, and in badminton, P. Kashyap and 3 other Indian shuttlers enter the second round of Taipei Open Super 300 tournament. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has lauded all vaccinators for achieving the 200 crore vaccine doses landmark. He congratulated all vaccinators by sending appreciation letters to them personally. Mr. Modi said vaccinators, healthcare workers, healthcare support staff and frontline workers have played a critical role in protecting the people. He said the journey of COVID vaccination started on 16th of January last year, and on the 17th of this month, India reached another significant milestone of administering 200 crore doses. Mr. Modi said saving lives is crucial, especially during once-in-a-century global pandemic. The Prime Minister said India has scripted history yet again, as nation has completed administering 200 crore vaccine doses. From the coldest mountains to the hottest deserts, from faraway villages to dense forests, the COVID-19 vaccination program has left none behind and showed that New India excels in last-mile delivery. BJP President JP Nadda today visited vaccination centre at Lady Hardinge Hospital in New Delhi and interacted with the health workers under free booster dose campaign. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Nadda said, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Indian scientist has developed 2 vaccines in the time span of 9 months. He congratulated all the healthcare workers, frontline workers, doctors and paramedics for putting in efforts to make India's COVID vaccination program the largest and fastest vaccination program in the world.
अगले 75 दिन में कोई भी व्यक्ति छूट न जाए और वह तीसरी डोज भी लगवा करके, बूस्टर डोज लगवा करके सुरक्षा कवच को, अपने स्वास्थ्य के कवच को मजबूत बनाएं। आइए हम सब लोग मिलकर एक साथ कोरोना से लड़ें और इस पर सफल विजय हासिल हम लोगों ने की है, उस सफलता को हम आगे बरकरार रखें।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today wished the Indian contingent the very best for Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. He expressed confidence that the athletes who are taking part in the Commonwealth Games 2022 for the first time will also make a tremendous impact. Interacting with the Indian contingent bound for the Games in Birmingham, Mr. Modi asked players to play with all their heart.
जो 65 से ज्यादा एथलीट पहली बार इस टूर्नामेंट में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं, मुझे विश्वास है कि वो भी अपनी जबरदस्त छाप छोड़ेंगे। आप लोगों को क्या करना है, कैसे खेलना है, इसके आप एक्सपर्ट हैं। मैं बस यही कहूंगा कि जी भर के खेलिएगा, जमकर खेलिएगा, पूरी ताकत से खेलिएगा और बिना किसी टेंशन से खेलिएगा। और आप लोगों ने वो पुराना डायलॉग सुना होगा, कोई नहीं है टक्कर में, कहां पड़े हो चक्कर में। बस इसी एटीट्यूड को लेकर आपको वहां जाना है, खेलना है।
During his interaction with the athletes, the Prime Minister lauded Salima Tete, a hockey player from Jharkhand, for her performance at the Tokyo Olympics.
टोक्यो ओलंपिक में आपके खेल ने सभी को प्रभावित किया था और मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि ये अनुभव आपको आगे भी बहुत ही मदद करेगा। आप बहुत आगे बढ़ेगी। मैं आपके माध्यम से महिला और पुरुष दोनों ही हॉकी टीम को अपनी ओर से और देश की तरफ से बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
Para-athlete Sharmila from Haryana recounted the story of her determination to overcome all hurdles to play for the country. Mr. Modi applauded her spirit and perseverance.
शर्मा जी, आप वाकई हर देशवासी के लिए एक रोल मॉडल है। आपने साबित कर दिया कि अगर जीतने का जज्बा हो तो कोई भी लक्ष्य असंभव नहीं है। हर चुनौती आपके लिए हौसले के आगे हार जाती। आपका समर्पण पूरे देश को प्रेरित करता है।
Badminton player Teresa Jolly from Kerala spoke about how her father motivated her to play the sport.
My father motivated me to play the sport as volleyball and football is more popular in my hometown, but badminton is more convenient to play in that age, at the age of 5. It is good bond with Gayatri. It's create a good combination when we are playing on court. I feel it's very important to keep good bond with our partners.
Anchita Shuli of West Bengal told the Prime Minister how he keeps calm and gains strength for weightlifting training by practicing yoga. Avinash Sable highlighted how the army supported him in training for steeplechase. The Prime Minister remarked that the athletes are going to the Commonwealth Games at a time when the country is celebrating 75 years of independence.
इसी अवसर पर आप श्रेष्ठ प्रदर्शन का तोहफा देश को देंगे। आप सभी ने श्रेष्ठ ट्रेनिंग की है, दुनिया की बेहतरीन सुविधाओं के साथ ट्रेनिंग की है। ये समय उस ट्रेनिंग को और अपनी संकल्प शक्ति का समावेश करने का है। बड़े अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मैदान पर उतर रहे हैं, उनसे मैं कहूंगा कि मैदान बदला है, माहौल भी बदला होगा, लेकिन आपका मिजाज नहीं बदला है, आपकी जिद नहीं बदली है। लक्ष्य वही है कि तिरंगे को लहराता देखना है, राष्ट्रगान की धुन को बजते सुनना है।
The Commonwealth Games 2022 are scheduled to be held in Birmingham from 20th July till 8th of August. A total of 215 athletes participating in 141 events across 19 sporting disciplines. Price rise and GST hike on essential commodities continue to disrupt the proceedings of both the Houses of Parliament on the third consecutive day of the monsoon session. As the Lok Sabha met for the day, opposition members trooped into the well of the House, shouting slogans against price rise. Congress members were seen displaying milk and buttermilk packets as a mark of protest. Speaker Om Birla appealed to the agitating members who are indulging in sloganeering to go back to their seats and take part in discussions. Stating that the majority members want Parliament to work, the Speaker told the agitating members that they will be given a chance to raise the issue during the zero hour.
मैं आपसे आग्रह करता हूं कि ये सदन चर्चा और संवाद के लिए आप सब चुनकर आए। आप अपनी बात सदन में रखें, मुद्दों को सदन में उठाएं। जो विषय आप नारेबाजी कर रहे हैं, अच्छा हो, मैं आप सबको शून्यकाल के अंदर परमिशन दे रहा हूं। अगर कुछ मुद्दे उठाना चाहते हैं तो ये सदन मुद्दों पर चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है। देश में संसद लोगों की अभिव्यक्ति के लिए, लोगों की भावनाओं को उठाने के लिए।
Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi also appealed to the opposition members to allow the proceedings. Amidst the din, the Speaker adjourned the House till 2 p.m. The situation was no different in the upper house. When the Rajya Sabha met for the day, Leader of the Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge raised the issue of price rise, saying that the GST hike on essential commodities has adversely affected the common man. He said the prices of essential commodities including rice, wheat, flour and milk have been hiked, which is against the interest of the people. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu interrupted Mr. Kharge, saying he is ready for discussion. Following this, opposition members including Congress and AAP trooped into the well raising slogans against the government. Members from the TMC, DMK, Left and others were also on their feet. Amid the din, Mr. Naidu tried to run the House, asking opposition members to allow the House to function, but in vain. He adjourned the House till 2 p.m. Earlier nominated member P.T. Usha was administered the oath by the chairman.
Congress-led opposition parties today held a protest on the second consecutive day seeking rollback of GST on essential commodities like milk products and wheat in front of the Mahatma Gandhi statue in the Parliament complex. DMK, TRS and left parties also joined in the protest. Talking to media, Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge said they will raise the issue both inside the Parliament and outside. He said the price rise and high inflation are badly affecting the common man and threatening their survival. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi today asserted that the government is ready for discussion in the Parliament over the issue of price rise. Talking to media outside the Parliament, Mr. Joshi said Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has tested COVID positive and is unable to attend the Parliament. He said the government is in principle ready for discussion over the issue once the Finance Minister comes. He accused Congress of not willing to have a constructive discussion and only interested in disruption.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has alleged that opposition is running away from discussion in the Parliament as they have no issue. Talking to reporters in New Delhi, Mr. Thakur said no state opposed hike on certain items during the GST Council meeting. He said now they are misleading the people and not allowing Parliament to function.
विपक्ष चर्चा से भाग रहा है, विपक्ष मुद्दा विहीन है और भ्रम की स्थिति पैदा करने का लगातार प्रयास कर रहा है। आखिरकार जीएसटी की बैठक में किसी राज्य ने कोई विरोध नहीं किया। जीएसटी काउंसिल की जो ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स थी, उन 7 मेंबर्स में से 3 विपक्षी राज्यों से प्रतिनिधि थे। आखिरकार डिसेंट या विरोध उस समय भी नहीं किया, तो आज जब सदन चलने का समय आया है तो दिखावा करके देश को गुमराह करने का काम क्यों कर रहे हैं? अगर विरोध करना था तो जीएसटी की बैठक में करें। वहां पर किसी भी राज्य ने विरोध नहीं किया।
The Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Minister Piyush Goyal today made it clear that there is no proposal to offer export subsidies for pulse traders. Informing the Lok Sabha, the minister said the government has put Tur and Urad under the free category till March 31st next year. In a written reply, the minister said the government has taken the decision after carefully analyzing production, availability, prices and market conditions of pulses to protect the interest of farmers and consumers.
The Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Minister Piyush Goyal today said that, the telecom service providers are likely to launch 5G services during the current financial year 2022-23. Communications, Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw informed in the Lok Sabha. In a written reply, the minister said the Department of Telecommunications granted permission to Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited for conducting 5G technology trials with the Centre for Development of Telematics or CDOT.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails vaccinators and healthcare workers for achieving 200 crore vaccine doses landmark. Prime Minister interacts with the Indian contingent for the upcoming Commonwealth Games 2022 in Birmingham. Both houses of Parliament adjourned till 2 p.m. following continued opposition protest over price rise and other issues. Counting of votes for presidential election to take place tomorrow. Kerala government releases standard operating procedure to deal with monkeypox cases. Ranil Wickremesinghe elected as new president of Sri Lanka. Several Western European countries are in the grip of severe heat wave with temperatures breaking previous records. Today is World Chess Day, and in badminton, P. Kashyap and 3 other Indian shuttlers enter second round of Taipei Open Super 300 tournament. And for quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
कॉम्पिटिशन्स की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो आकाशवाणी लाया है एक इंटरैक्टिव प्रोग्राम अभ्यास। एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम जहां आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर, या आप ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं अपने सवाल abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। हमारे स्टूडियो में एक्सपर्ट आपके भेजे सवालों का देंगे जवाब शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे। इस बार का विषय है पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। आपके सवालों का हम करेंगे इंतजार 20 जुलाई तक। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
क्या आप वरिष्ठ नागरिक हैं? क्या आपके मन में सेहत, आर्थिक, सामाजिक या भावनात्मक मुद्दों से जुड़ा कोई सवाल है? आकाशवाणी आपके लिए लेकर आया है कार्यक्रम एक कदम और बुजुर्गों के लिए, हर रविवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। आप अपने सवाल हमें व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर भेज सकते हैं या इस पते पर ईमेल कर सकते हैं एक कदम और airnews@gmail.com। 24 जुलाई को सुनिए कार्यक्रम का पहला अंक। आपके सवाल हमें 22 जुलाई तक मिल जाने चाहिए।
Welcome back to the Midday News on All India Radio. The counting of votes for presidential elections will be taken up tomorrow. It will start at 11 a.m. in the Parliament House complex in the national capital. Polling to elect a new President of India was held at the Parliament House, state assemblies and other designated places across the country on Monday. The term of incumbent President Ram Nath Kovind will end on the 24th of July. Former Jharkhand Governor Draupadi Murmu is the NDA candidate for the presidential election, while former Union Minister Yashwant Sinha is contesting as the opposition candidate for the top post. In news just in, Rajya Sabha has been adjourned for the day following the uproar by opposition parties over price rise and other issues. The Kerala government has released a standard operating procedure SOP to deal with monkeypox cases in the state. Health Minister Veena George said the SOP includes details about collecting samples, isolation and treatment to be followed by all government and private hospitals in the state. Individuals with monkeypox symptoms should be treated as suspected cases if they have visited the countries with the viral disease outbreak in the past 21 days. Monkeypox will, however, be confirmed by a PCR test. Health Department has since started monkeypox diagnostic testing at the National Institute of Virology in Allapura. Meanwhile, the central team, which is camping in the state, will today visit the Pariyaram Government Medical College in Kannur, where the second infected person is undergoing treatment. The country's first monkeypox case was confirmed in a 35-year-old Kollam native who returned from the United Arab Emirates last week.
In Uttarakhand, 2 labourers were killed and 6 others injured after an under-construction bridge collapsed in Rudraprayag district today. The accident occurred near Narkota on Rishikesh-Badrinath National Highway. In Sri Lanka, acting President Ranil Wickremesinghe has won the presidential election held in Parliament today. The announcement was made by the Speaker. Ranil Wickremesinghe obtained 134 votes, while Dulas Alap Perume got 82 votes and Anura Kumara Disanaike 3 votes. Voting held today to elect the new president. The presidential election was forced on the country following the resignation of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He first flew to Maldives and then to Singapore after tens of thousands of protesters stormed his official residence in the capital Colombo. The worst economic crisis in Sri Lanka's history has prompted an acute shortage of essential items like fuel. Long queues at fuel stations in Sri Lanka is the new normal and prices fluctuate subject to availability.
Heat records tumbled and firefighters faced new blazes as much of Western Europe baked in a grueling heat wave. The UK has recorded temperatures of over 40 degrees centigrade for the first time. Several fire services declared major incidents after a surge in fires. A major blaze in Winnington in East London left homes gutted. Some rail services were cancelled after tracks overheated or buckled and overhead cables failed. Hundreds of firefighters tackled fires across London, including in Winnington, where a grass fire spread to properties. Germany also saw its hottest day of the year so far, while Portugal raised its death toll after days of excess heat. In France, 64 different areas registered record high temperatures on Monday. In Belgium, a fire broke out in dunes at the Belgian resort of De Haan, setting several vehicles alight. Central and northwestern Spain has also been ravaged by wildfires. In Greece, a wildfire fueled by gale force winds raged on the mountainous region of Penteli near Athens. It has damaged homes and prompted local authorities to evacuate at least 4 areas and a hospital. Forecasters in Italy are warning of temperatures as high as 40 to 42 degrees centigrade between Wednesday and Friday. Several wildfires have already been reported in the country, and blazes that broke out on Monday evening in Tuscany were still raging till yesterday afternoon. And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day. वतन पे जो फिदा होगा
अमर वो नौजवान होगा। रहेगी जब तलक दुनिया ये अफसाना बयां होगा।
The 20th of July is the death anniversary of revolutionary freedom fighter Batukeshwar Dutt. Born on the 18th of November 1910 in Purba Bardhaman district, he was a close associate of freedom fighters Chandrasekhar Azad and Bhagat Singh.
In 1924, Batukeshwar met Bhagat Singh and Chandrasekhar Azad and was motivated to join the Hindustan Republican Association, HRA. It was Batukeshwar Dutt and Bhagat Singh who hurled smoke bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly on 8th of April 1929 in protest against two to surrender so as to inspire other revolutionaries to contribute towards the Indian freedom struggle. They were sentenced to life imprisonment and the act shook British colonial roots in Indian soil. While Bhagat Singh was hanged for killing John Saunders, Batukeshwar Dutt was transferred to the
other Kalapani inmates. He began a hunger strike against the abusive treatment of political prisoners and the discriminatory and inhumane prison conditions. He contracted tuberculosis soon after he was released from prison. However, this could not deter his spirit to fight for the cause of freedom. He actively participated in the Quit India movement led by Gandhiji in 1942.
वतन की राह में वतन के नौजवान शहीद हो, उगारते हैं ये ज़मीन आसमान शहीद हो.
Dutt outlived all his comrades except Jaidev Kapoor and died 2 hours after the midnight of 20th July 1965 in AIIMS Hospital in Delhi after a long illness. He was cremated in Hussainiwala near Firozpur in Punjab, where the bodies of his companions Bhagat Singh, Shivram Rajguru and Sukhdev Thapar were also cremated many years before. All India Radio News salutes the great Indian. Today, we also remember freedom fighter Girija Shankar Agnihotri, who was born on July the 20th, 1897 in Mandala, Madhya Pradesh. Girija Shankar led the Jungle Satyagraha in Mandala district in 1930, due to which he was imprisoned for a year. In 1934, Mahatma Gandhi came to Mandala and lived in the residence of Girija Shankar and conducted the movement in support of depressed classes in the area. Girija Shankar Agnihotri also played a leading role during the Quit India movement in 1942. After independence, Girija Shankar joined politics and spent his life in public service till his death on the 15th of February 1953. All India Radio News salutes the great Indian. We also remember Ghulam Muhammad, who joined the independence activists during the First War of Independence in 1857 and fought the British on different occasions in the Bombay Presidency. He also offered financial assistance to his fellow rebels and motivated them to attack the British authorities and overthrow their oppressive rule. He was captured by company troops in the course of a confrontation and put on trial for aiding and abetting rebellion against the state. He was sentenced to imprisonment for 10 years with hard labor in irons and transported to the Andaman Islands in March 1859, where he died in cellular jail on the 20th of July 1859.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
Today is World Chess Day. The day is observed to mark the date of the establishment of the International Chess Federation in Paris in 1924. On 12 December 2019, the UN General Assembly proclaimed 20th July as World Chess Day. Chess lovers around the world celebrate their favorite game on this day each year. Chess is one of the most ancient intellectual and cultural games with a combination of sport, scientific thinking and elements of art. Invented in India in the 5th century, this board game was originally named Chaturang. After the development of the game in India, it eventually spread to Persia. In badminton, Parupalli Kashyap, Kiran George, Mithun Manjunath and Priyanshu Rajawat entered into the second round of the men's singles of the Taipei Open Super 300 tournament in Taipei today. They beat their opponents in straight sets. Parupalli Kashyap beat Chi Yu Zhen 24-21, 10. Kiran George defeated Ade Reski Diwachi 23-21, 21-17. Mithun Manjunath thrashed Kim Brun 21-17, 21-15. And Priyanshu Rajawat beat Yushan Po 21-16, 21-15.
News Services Division of All India Radio will bring an exclusive interview with renowned economist and former Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, Arvind Pangadia, at 9:30 p.m. tonight. Arvind Pangadia, who contributed a chapter towards a prosperous India in the book Modi at 20, Dreams Meet Delivery, shared the experience and themes of his chapter in the book with us.
What this volume does is to bring together many different authors who have had some sort of association during these 20 years with the Prime Minister, and to cover various areas. The book is divided in about 5 different parts. So the first section of the book deals with the people first philosophy of the Prime Minister. So this section talks about women empowerment, people-centric approach to policy, and so on. Then the second section talks about politics of unity and development. Then we have the third section where it brings in the economy for everyone. And the fourth section deals on governance, a new paradigm. And of course, then the Prime Minister has changed the governance quite dramatically in many, many different ways.
The interview can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on a YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. News Services Division of All India Radio is starting Commonwealth Games quiz AIR News in its daily program Sports Scan from tomorrow to create awareness about the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. The Commonwealth Games is scheduled to be held in Birmingham, England from 28th of July to 8th August 2022. To participate, listeners can answer the questions on Commonwealth Games during the Sports Scan program. Listeners can email their answers to us on airsportscan@gmail.com. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails vaccinators and healthcare workers for achieving 200 crore vaccine doses landmark. Prime Minister interacts with the Indian contingent for the upcoming Commonwealth Games 2022 in Birmingham. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day following continued opposition protests over price rise and other issues. Counting of votes for presidential election to take place tomorrow. Kerala government releases standard operating procedure to deal with monkeypox cases. Ranil Wickremesinghe elected as new president of Sri Lanka. Several Western European countries are in grip of severe heat wave with temperatures breaking previous records. Today is World Chess Day. And in badminton, P. Kashyap and 3 other Indian shuttlers enter second round of Taipei Open Super 300 tournament. And with that, we end the midday news.